Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today for another Maker Mania, brought to you by me, Sharon, who's the Makerspace librarian here at the Rawlings Library in the Makerspace. Glad to see all of you guys who are joining us today. I'm really excited to introduce our speaker today. Our teacher is Dr. Kelly. She taught us a couple months ago about how to make a compost bin in our backyard, and today she's going to talk about technology and farming, which I think is pretty interesting. There's a lot of really cool science that's happening um, in the world of farming, and I think that it's really cool that we'll have the opportunity to hear from an expert about how that works. Pueblo, of course, is a huge farming community, and it's really awesome to be able to be sustainable and grow your own food. So I'm just absolutely thrilled that she's here to talk to us about this today. So without any further ado, I will get that video started for us. Hold on one sec, okay?
Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Kelly Gelhoff, founder and CEO of Perpetual Harvest LLC, a sustainability consulting company with roots here in Pueblo, Colorado, where we're showing people how to grow a future worth living. And today I have a very special lesson for you of one of my favorite topics, controlled environment agriculture technology and innovation that's happening all around the world. So I'll be your tour guide today as we look into how STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and math is making a difference in meeting some really important global goals of the United Nations, things like addressing hunger and malnutrition and pollution and poverty. So think about for a minute what's interesting to you about farming, and would you or would you not want to become a farmer one day? And where could you fit in with your interests and strengths and skill sets into this industry? And just for a moment, I want you to think about what your favorite thing to grow would be. If you could grow any crop, what kind of farmer would you want to be? So my curiosity began when I was in college in 2001. I spent a semester at the Biosphere 2. It was in Arizona. And this was one of the greatest human science experiments ever. In the early 1990s, this greenhouse was built, and it's the size of 3.5 football fields inside. And the purpose was to recreate all the natural cycles of Earth to see if we could grow our own food and air and water in a closed loop system for space colonization in places like Mars and the moon. Could we feed ourselves ongoing? And so this is a group of 8 people called the Bioneers who dedicated their lives to be research subjects for a 5-month and a 2-year experiment. And unfortunately, they learned some hard lessons along the way that they needed to grow the crops in a better way. And they also had some of the concrete absorb oxygen over time. And so it wasn't truly a closed loop after all. But space agriculture research continues, and NASA has a really interesting contest this year about how to build an autonomous grow system, or something that would take care of the plants itself without any human interaction required. Aquaponics is another type of indoor farming that fascinates me and that I have some hands-on experience with. And it's a closed loop system design where the fish waste is actually the nutrients or the input to the plant's roots. And so they work together in what's called symbiosis, or a balance of inputs and outputs. And so over here in the blue tanks, you can see where the fish are being farmed, and then the lettuce is being farmed on these styrofoam floating rafts. And this is just one great way to create a net zero effect in farming, where there's no waste product into the environment. And they don't need a whole lot of land either. That's what's really interesting about vertical farming, is that we're taking the plants and moving them upward through structures of using the 3-dimensional space to maximize yields, meaning we're growing as many plants as we can in as little space as possible. And this is a very interesting view of the first plug and play system called the Juice Plus Tower Garden. And it was based in Walt Disney World, where the science of this hydroponic unit was first developed. And now we have a set of these in town at Roncalli Middle School. And what's really fun about this is you can grow the plants year round and have a local food supply that is steady. This is an example of a full harvest with kale and lettuce and basil and different salad greens and herbs. And they'll be grown hydroponically, which means hydro or water as the base instead of soil. So you don't need any soil or sun. In this case, they're using LED lights that are hanging here next to the plants as their source of light. And at the bottom of the picture, you can see here some hydroponic nutrients, which is a chemical liquid nutrient that you pour into the basin. There'll be a recipe with a certain measurement and a pH that you have to balance the water chemistry, and then a simple pump to recirculate that water. And this can use as little as 90% less water than traditional farming. And the next version of a home system for your grow tower, this one's 6 feet tall, or you could have many of them in a small farm in an urban setting. The lettuce grow tower is unique because they're using recycled milk jugs as the source of plastic. And then the lights are interesting because they come in a circular fashion here, like a ring. And even within electrical engineering, there's room in farming now for innovation and inventing new products and best practices, as we say. So there's a great example here of how quickly you could get from seed to harvest. A lot of these crops only take 1 month. Many other types of crops take 3 or 4 months before they're fully mature. And here's a great example from Germany called aponics. And this grow tower is actually like Legos, where you can break it down into smaller segments. Here you can see that each ring in the tower is built from 4 sections, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. And so this one's really interesting in that it's adaptive to the farmer's needs, which is modular. You could build the grow system as short or tall as you need, or you can use it with soil or with hydroponic or aeroponic technologies. Aeroponics, by the way, is when you mist the roots instead of soaking the roots. And so here is a Japanese example of a plant factory where the lettuce and lights go all the way from the floor to the ceiling. And this is one of a very highly efficient and maximum yield monocropping style. And they use this kind of clothing to keep the laborers clean and to keep pests and microbes out of the grow system. And here you can see an example of strawberries being grown year-round and hydroponically. One of the other interesting facts about farming is that data collection and science is actually changing the way that things are done. Computerized systems and sensors are helping to monitor the plant growth and health and help the human know when to intervene in the system to make a change. But some examples like this one from Finland, the grow system is called Vera, and it's almost fully automated. I wouldn't say robotic, but they are working towards that, where they could replicate this grow system into hundreds of them inside of a skyscraper or a tower in a big city like in Asia. So this one can grow 300 plants per day in the basic cube unit. And you can see they're monitoring different variables and looking at things like temperature or humidity, the pH of the water, and the nutrient level, the EC, electroconductivity it's called. And so there's so many different things that you would consider in an indoor farm that you wouldn't in a traditional farm. And back in the United States, we have a company called Gotham Greens, which is doing a different type of vertical farm. It's a rooftop greenhouse. And so instead of using lights, they're using the passive solar and sunshine for the plant's photosynthesis needs, which is great for sustainability. And they're also producing enough lettuce to fulfill about 100-mile radius or more from where the store is located. I think they have partnered with Whole Foods to bring this kind of lettuce to many different stores across the country. And they have another competing grow tower here called Zip Grow Towers. And this one was started in Wyoming. And you can see there's a lot of different kinds of crops here on this demonstration wall where they did something for the World Fair. But most of the time, businesses are still doing single crop model. Lettuce and basil are the most common and successful. But there is research and development, or R&D, being done around the world about how to bring different kinds of crops to indoor farming in a way that will really feed the populations, the masses. So this is a great example with the pink LED lights, and this farmer is taking down one of his towers in order to harvest it. It's about 5 feet tall, and they have some smaller units that you could use at home. Instead of being a farmer, you could have your own garden that you could harvest and use in your cooking on the regular. And one of my very favorite examples is based here in Colorado, the Farm Box Foods container farm. And this one is great because it has almost 5,000 plants inside. And it's an upcycled shipping container, and it's semi-automated using the computer technology and the hydroponics again. And I would like to say that we have one at St. Mary Corwin here in Pueblo that has been operating for about a year now. And so hopefully you'll get a chance to see more and more urban farming models cropping up in your neighborhood or in your community as well. This one is fascinating because it takes very little time to complete, about 15 to 20 hours per week to run the entire farm. And so there's just such a difference in the maintenance and in the flow and ease of the design of the business, as well as what the plants need, and just keeping it very simple. As far as keeping things simple, I also want to encourage you to think about how you might do vertical farming in your everyday life. There are many low-tech, do-it-yourself style options where you could use styrofoam here for a floating raft system, or PVC pipe to build something across your fence, or even in a small greenhouse, something with tiers so that you could maximize your space and grow a lot of food. The DIY style could also look more like this with the aquaponics, or with some rain barrel and irrigation system. And here's an example of a chili plant that would fit inside of a closet. So you have to get creative and think about what you want to grow and how you want to grow it, and know that there are many solutions when you use your STEM-based thinking. And that there's so many kinds of jobs around farming and in this industry that didn't exist before, and that will in the future if you can put your vision to solving some of these global problems at the local level. And this is an example of a skyscraper with renewable energy attached and lots of food production at each level. And so integrating the architecture into agriculture is one of the most common factors that I'm seeing grow in the trend, and that there will be lots of ways to use mechanical engineering, as well as, like I said, electrical engineering and renewable energy types of technology. The cross pollination of different industries will only continue to grow and make things more interesting as we research what our options are for how to grow enough food for all the people on our planet, and to do so in a way that doesn't destroy our earth and natural resources. So I hope you enjoyed our quick tour around the world, and I hope you want to learn more. please visit me at my website of perpetualharvestllc.com, and that you can learn more by tuning into the Pueblo Food Project and what we're doing at the community level as well. So what did you learn about vertical farming? And I hope that this will bring you a chance to add it to your next conversation. And your call to action today is to grow your own garden and sow your seeds at home. You can use upcycled fruit containers like these to get started. A little bit of soil will go a long way. And this is an example of some microgreens for salad and some pea shoots coming up. And then you can also use old soda bottles or juice or milk bottles and containers, or old wood to build structures that can go vertical. So think about how to add an artistic flair to build something that would help you garden and meet your family's food needs at the same time. Become a food system hero by just getting involved, becoming more than a consumer, and also being a producer. And just a quick reminder that there is the All Pueblo Grows Seed Lending Library available for you to find a free start with the Rawlings Library and a few different boxes around town. So go to allpueblogrows.org and get started today. Have a wonderful day.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video from Dr. Kelly. She's always so inspiring. Wow, the light is really bright right there. I'm sorry about that. I just realized that I've got a lot of light shining in here. It's probably because of the time of day. Anyway, she's so super inspiring. Every time I watch a video with her or I've talked to her, I come away thinking, man, I can really grow a garden in my backyard. I have a black thumb, profoundly, but I'm going to give it a shot. This last year I grew some stuff, and it was because of inspiration from people like Dr. Kelly, Perpetual Harvest, All Pueblo Grows. Come in and use our seed library here at the library. You're more than welcome to come in and visit us for 2 hours a day now, and it's getting to be that time, so come on in and use the seed library while there's still good seeds. All right, guys, that's about all I have for today. I love that the sun is shining. I love that it's warm. All right. Until I get to see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep making, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.